Hi, welcome to AMSA Utah. In conjunction with Virtual AMSA Half Day, we'll be uploading a series of videos related to sex education. Here's a list of our videos that will be uploaded on a weekly basis. Each video comes with a quiz, and you can get an RM10 Grab voucher as a reward of completing the quiz. Please act fast because we are only giving out 50 vouchers per quiz. Do remember to subscribe to our channels and turn on the notifications so you won't miss out any of our videos and quizzes. Before I proceed to our video content, we would like to express our utmost gratitude to Public Bank Berhad for sponsoring this video. So, today, we will be talking about both the female and male reproductive systems along with their respective structures and function. Okay, so this is the overview of male and female reproductive system, where most of the important organs and glands are shown clearly. The aspects that will be covered by these videos includes the location and the function of the external and internal structures. So let us begin with the male reproductive system. So this is the overview of the location of three main structures which are called testes, scrotum and epididymis. So what is scrotum? It's actually a loose pouch-like sac of skin that hangs behind and below the penis. It has muscles that contract and relax to control the distance of testes towards the body, and in addition to that, it provides testes a cooler environment for more effective production of sperm. Now we'll move on to testes. It contains seminiferous tubules that contain spermatogenic cells that undergo spermatogenesis to become sperm. The walls of the tubules are made out of Sertoli cells that nourish the immature sperm. Now we'll be talking about a long, coiled tube that rests on the backside of testicles, which name Epididymis. It functions to transport and store sperms, and it involves in the maturation of sperms. So actually, what is penis? It is actually an excretory organ for urine, and it is a male copulatory organ. It has 7 erogenous zones, just like the female. Erogenous zones are the parts of the penis that are sensitive to the sexual stimulation. So, the 7 erogenous zones for males are the glands, frenulum, perineum, prostate, foreskin, scrotum, and testicles. All the 7 zones are clearly stated in the diagram. And last, for the male reproductive system, I'll be explaining about the 3 main glands that are present, which are the seminal vesicles, prostate gland, and bulbourethral glands. Seminal vesicles are to release fluid to enhance the movement or transport of sperms, while prostate gland is to produce fluid with sperm cell to make up the semen. And last but not least, the bulbourethral glands. It is to secrete fluid that neutralizes the acidity of urine and provides lubrication for penis during intercourse.
Now, we'll further proceed with the female reproductive system, including the structures and functions. First of all, do you know what are the components of the female reproductive system? Well, it's actually made up of a group of organs in a woman's lower belly and pelvis, along with the mammary glands and breasts, which can be divided into 2 major groups, namely the external structures and the internal structures. A female's reproductive system is responsible for menstrual cycle when one reaches puberty, which lasts about 28 days long, on average. Besides, female gametes, or what we call the reproductive cells, ova, can also be produced and transported. Subsequently, fertilization of sperm and ovum can be facilitated. Implantation is then able to take place. The system also plays a role in supporting the development and growth of an offspring in a woman's body. And that's how you and I were being delivered to this wonderful world. Along with that, female sex hormones, namely the estrogen and progesterone, can be synthesized as well. Before stepping into the great details, here's an overview of structures in the female reproductive system which you can appreciate. Here, you can notice both the external and internal parts with their main respective functions.
Let's start off with the external structures. Here we go.
The main structures of the external part include labia majora, labia minora, Bartholin's glands, as well as clitoris. The functions are to enable the entry of male gametes, sperm, to the body through vagina. Vagina is part of the internal structure which we will be looking at in detail later on. The external structures can also protect the internal genital organs against infections. First, we have the labia majora, the outermost structure. As we can see, it is large in size and appears fleshy. Hence, it is also known as large lips. When a girl reaches puberty, there is a presence of hair growth with sweat and oil-secreting glands in the region. Why is that so? It is to protect and enclose the other external parts of female reproductive organs. You can also remember this as a great soldier who protects everyone else. Moving up next is the labia minora. Labia minora is called small lips, just as opposed to the previous structure. This is a structure varying in sizes and shapes. It surrounds the opening of vagina and urethra. So, this structure is known to be easily irritated and swollen. This is the Bartholin's glands. It is a pea-sized compound located next to the vaginal opening on each side. In this particular structure, a fluid-like secretion named mucus will be produced in order to lubricate the vagina. We can say that this structure is similar to bulbourethral glands in the male reproductive system. Then we have the clitoris. Note the small protrusion covered by a fold of skin referred to as prepuce. Clitoris is situated in a place where two labia minora meet and say hi. It is one of the most sensitive erogenous zones due to its high concentration of nerve endings and will eventually erect. Okay, this marks the end of the discussion for the external part of female genitalia. Now, we will further move on to the internal structures. But before that, let us have a quick look at the overall associated structures, including the vagina, cervix, uterus, fallopian tube, and ovary. We do have some additional structures other than this. First, we will be looking at this structure, which was being mentioned a couple of times earlier on. Do you remember what it is? Yeah, that's the vagina. The vagina is covered by a thin membrane called the hymen and is located between the urethra and anus, basically where the urine and feces pass through. It provides a passageway for the menstrual flow to leave the body during menstrual cycle, receives penis during sexual intercourse, and not to mention the passageway for childbirth. We can conclude that it is rather a significant structure which facilitates several communications and work wonders. Next, we have the structure which is at the lower part of the uterus that opens into the vagina. It is the cervix. Here, the delivery of the baby can take place as it can be dilated to about 10 centimeters wide and the contraction will further push the baby out. Also, the sperm can be passed into the uterus with the aid of the mucus secreted by the cervix. Moving on, this is the uterus, also called the womb, a hollow pear-shaped organ with a muscular wall placed in between the urinary bladder and rectum. It has multiple functions, including to nurture a fertilized ovum into fetus and further holds till a baby is mature for birth. in the meantime provides them nourishment from blood vessels. Not only that, it provides mechanical protection and waste removal in order to keep the fetal environment clean. The fourth structure that we will be discussing is the fallopian tubes. These are the pair of narrow tubes that are attached to the upper part of the uterus. Why is it important? Because it serves as pathways for ova to travel from the ovaries to the uterus for implantation. It is important as the site of fertilization where sperm and ovum fuse together and form a zygote. Now we are looking at the ovary, which also comes in a pair at each side of the uterus. This is a site where eggs or ova, also the sex hormones, typically the estrogen and progesterone, are produced and released as part of a woman's cycle. These hormones aid in developing, which then allow a woman to have a baby. When an ovum is released, ovulation occurs. Fimbriae, the finger-like projections, are located at the ends of fallopian tubes. It functions mainly to catch a released ovum. As its name indicates, like a pair of hands to receive and further pass it down into the fallopian tube by the activation of hormones.
Let me ask you a question. Are you curious about where the menstrual bleeding comes from? Yes, this leads to the last structure that we'll be looking at today. It's the inner layer of the uterine wall, known as endometrium. Now, you must be questioning whether is it designed to bleed monthly for a reason? Well, the answer is yes. This is due to the fact that the lining of the uterus sheds through vagina and enters a new menstrual cycle, provided if fertilization does not occur, which means when an ovum does not mate with the sperm. And that's all for today's content.
Here is a list of references that we referred to create these videos. Thanks for watching, and please remember to try out the quizzes in the description box as you have got a chance to get an IM10 Grab voucher upon completion. If you think this video is helpful, please don't forget to like it, share it, subscribe it, and turn on the notifications so you won't miss out any videos. Stay tuned and see you in the next videos. See ya!